this is Nita. We're going to talk about Old Hickory, Andrew Jackson, for a few minutes, and then we're going to compare it to what's going on up on Capitol Hill. Now, I didn't always know why Old Hickory was called, Andrew Jackson was called Old Hickory, but I knew it must have something to do with the tree or the hardness of the nut, something there. It turns out it is because his troops likened him unto a strong hickory tree. Nut trees are very strong hardwood trees. They make really nice furniture and other things. But Andrew Jackson was a tough man, and he had values, and he was akin to much like President Trump. And while he was president, the Democrats would call him demagogue, which that's one of their favorite terms. I remember they called MacArthur a demagogue, but he was getting things done, and they didn't like it. They wanted him to halt in World War II, and that really wasn't a good thing. I think that the job didn't get finished, but at any rate, we'll go back to Andrew Jackson now. Andrew Jackson was a very, very good man. So he stayed with his troops instead of just tootling off by himself back to Tennessee. He stayed with them, and he provided with his own funds money to get them back for food and what they needed. And it was a tough journey back. It was tough, but they made it. I'm sure some people didn't, but I mean, the troop made it back home. So Andrew Jackson was likened unto a old hickory tree, and I remember hearing that in school a lot. Old Hickory was compared to a strong, resilient hickory tree, a defender of democracy and the U.S. Constitution. He was rated one of the most effective presidents. He stood up to the threats of the different powers as a president. In other words, when it was something that it was wrong, that had already been ruled wrong, that was part of his constitutional duties as a president, he just forged ahead and did what he had to do. So this is the word the Lord gave me this morning. I went up on Old Hickory Mountain. I didn't see a hickory tree anywhere. The name did not fit the space. The only thing I saw was a face to see. Who could, a face-off, a race to see. Who could hurt the worst? Now, right now in Congress, everybody is throwing rocks. And there is some judicial things that are going to have to come down. Because way back in 2020, the Lord gave me that until 2016 and 2020 elections were fixed. In other words, all the underlying lying and scheming and trying to knock America down, coups. It was much like he likened it unto the Chicago syndicates, the California syndicates, the New York syndicates in the 30s. That kind of behavior was running rapid through the government. And we all know it started out with Obama and Clinton. Clinton and Obama. They did things that they shouldn't do. They knew better. And then Biden was just a puppet, because we all know that his mind is like gone, and it was gone for the most part, most of his life, because he doesn't have a very good reputation. But I would hope that before he passes, that he finds the Lord Jesus Christ, and that Obama and Hillary and Comey and Clapper and Brennan and all these people from the FBI that were in that era, I would hope that they come to the Lord Jesus Christ, because without him, you're nothing. You're nothing without Jesus. And it's the best thing you'll ever do in your life, is to come to the righteous side of the field and sit down beside the Lord Jesus at the foot of the cross. So there wasn't a right and there wasn't a wrong. They all hung on ropes in between. And that's talking about some of the rhinos that are doing things that they shouldn't do. Back and forth stuff, back and forth, always hanging in the middle, sort of like Tarzan on the vines, going back and forth. They all hung on the ropes somewhere between, a void space, so they're not accomplishing anything. Removed from the love of God. You see, if you don't start out with the love of God in what you're going to do, then it doesn't show up anywhere there. You have to start out with that love for it to show up. It has to be, you have to put prayer and thought into what you're doing, and you have to go to the righteous. You can't sit in the middle or hang on a rope in the middle or sit on a white fence. So they were removed from the love of God. The orator shouted from the right to the left, but the voices between muffled the song of freedom. So there's this disturbance in the middle, and it's criminal activity. That's what it is. It's criminal activity. The old rugged cross was there, but none of them could see it because their spiritual eyes were closed. They could not see the old rugged cross. What did old Hickory do? He shook the mountain from the top to the bottom. And all the rocks fell down. All the rocks fell down. Now, there was a prophecy about the rocks that came through and smashed down onto the house floor of the mountain. Sounded onto the mountain floor. So that's the house floor. Its core lay in a rubble for all the world to see. And the sound of the trumpet hailed throughout the land. In God we trust, as he waved his iron fist into the air. No more muffled sounds and voices, no more between right and wrong were identified, and teaching and treachery left that old city. And how is treachery going to leave that old city? I see handcuffs. I'm sorry, but I see handcuffs. I see jail cells. I see treason. It's sad because these people could have all been different, but they chose to try to destroy our country. They chose to dabble in things that really displease the Lord. Don't touch the children. You don't traffic in children. You don't buy and sell their body parts. You don't kill them before they're born. That grieved God. It angered him. Each child had a gift. Still has that gift. They're in heaven. They had a gift that would have helped somebody. But somebody snuffed it out by preaching the devil's tongue. No, we're not a communist nation. We're not a socialist nation. We are a democracy. We are a republic. And we are free. And we're going to stay free. And those big rocks falling down, they're going to fall right on top of the little people. So I urge the people that are on the bottom to get up and start talking. Get out of the way fast. Call on Jesus to help you out, because you can't do it by yourself. This is important. This is an important message, and the Lord wouldn't give it if it wasn't important. They used to stone prophets and kill them and do all kinds of things because they didn't want to listen to God. Now the left doesn't want to listen to God because they have sold their soul to Satan. They live in a little red cart from hell, and they pick stuff out of that cart all the time to hurt people with. Blackmail schemes, lying, fraud, thievery, buying and selling children, opening up the border to make everything chaotic and hard to deal with. They wanted to hang on to power. No matter what, they wanted power. And we saw what happened to the ones in Congress and in the Senate. You see Pelosi falling. You see Schumer falling. Schiff, Nadler, just one right after the other. Elizabeth Warren. I mean, they're all sinking low down in their seats to shame. But they could have the love of Jesus. And I pray that they will come to him. So I need to end this today by saying, if you don't know Jesus, please call him into your life today. And if you got something out of this, please send me to someone else, because we are in a spiritual battle in this country. And we have 3 years in this great awakening to waken up our country and what we are. So have a great day in the Lord, and thank you for coming by to listen. And please push like and send me somewhere else.